The big news this week is that Shohei Ohtani's interpreter has been charged by US officials for stealing millions from the Dodgers star. It's reported that Ippei Mizuhara wired more than $16 million, or to me, $13 million, from Ohtani's accounts to pay off his gambling debts, unbeknownst to Ohtani himself. The whole situation is insane, and there's really a lot to delve into when it comes to this discussion and this topic. And there's also a lot to talk about when it comes to the reaction people had towards Ohtani when this story officially broke not too long ago. So let's not waste any time and let's talk baseball. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Let's Talk Baseball. I'm your host, Tom Skulls, and today, whenever you're watching it, we're going to be talking about Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani because he's in the news yet again for essentially being a victim of an insane scandal that his name is all over, and he really has officially nothing to do with it. Ippei Mizuhara, the longtime friend and interpreter for Shohei, has been charged by US officials for wiring $16 million into paying off his gambling debts. Ippei had a severe gambling issue that now people are very aware of. But when the story first broke, there was a lot of conjecture, there was a lot of rumour flying around about who really is involved in it. Is Shohei really involved in it, or is it literally just his interpreter? There are people calling him the fall guy for Shohei. Well, now there's probably going to be quite a lot of people out there that owe Shohei and Ohtani an apology. The lead prosecutor in California accused Mr. Mizuhara of impersonating Mr. Ohtani to banks and to place wagers. Mr. Ohtani is considered a victim in this case, US Attorney Martin Estrada told reporters at a news conference in Los Angeles on Thursday. Every time you read something about this, something new comes out and it makes you go, good God, it's ridiculous. From January to March 2024, Mr. Mizuhara allegedly purchased $325,000 worth of baseball cards using money taken from Ohtani's account. Now, that was information that I wasn't aware of, but now am aware of, and I've got to be honest, every time I read about this, it makes me just go, this is a guy that took advantage of Ohtani's trust in him, took advantage in Ohtani's relative lack of English. As far as we know, Ohtani's English skills are minimal. He has some, but not enough to, converse with the media, and that's not uncommon with overseas sports stars in a new country. But one thing I think you'd expect if you are a foreign star in a foreign country is trust in your interpreter, the one person you are trusting to relay information back to you. And this is one of those incidences where the trust has been completely broken. The trust has been completely broken, and I really feel for Ohtani on this one. Ohtani provided his cell phone to law enforcement, who determined that there was no evidence to suggest that Mr. Ohtani was aware of or involved in Mr. Mizuhara's illegal gambling activity or payment of those debts, according to the prosecutor's statement. The criminal charge of bank fraud carries a sentence of 30 years in federal prison. New York Times reports he is negotiating a plea deal with prosecutors. Sports betting is legal in 38 states in America, but it remains illegal in California. Major League Baseball has its own policy that bans any player, umpire, club, or league official or employee from betting on baseball games and placing bets with illegal bookmakers. Mr. Estrada told reporters on Thursday that there is no evidence to suggest that Mr. Mizuhara placed any bets on baseball games. there is many things to discuss around this. Clearly, Mizuhara and Ippei was in serious bother. He was in a world of debt that Shohei didn't know about, that Shohei paid off and was unaware of. As Rich Eisen has said on his Twitter, it's clearly obvious Ohtani has been robbed blind and is a complete victim in all of this at the hands of a rogue trusted friend who went down a deep, dark rabbit hole and needs help. And that is ultimately the crux of the situation. Ippei Mizuhara went to extreme lengths to pay off gambling debts, extreme gambling debts, and needs help. Quite frankly, he has an addiction, and he needs all the help he can get with it, because this is an act of it's a criminal act, but it's such a treacherous act that it's one that you can only do in desperation, which is what he's done. One thing that I've seen people say, and one thing that I initially said on Twitter when the news broke, was, how does $16 million go from your bank account and you not notice? My question was, how does Shohei not notice that $16 million has left his account? And I was listening to Baseball Today with Chris Rose on the John Boy Network, and he made a point that the money for some of these people, it's treated differently to how we are. And it made me look at that and realise, okay, yeah, you've got a point there. You've got a point in the sense that if £5 or $5 goes out of my account, there's a high chance I don't notice. If £50 goes out of my account, there's a high chance I notice. If $500,000 in one go goes out of Shohei's account, he might not notice. If 5 million goes out of his account, he'll notice. One other thing that I've seen is that, by all accounts, Ippei turned off the notifications on Shohei's phone, so when the withdrawals were made, he wouldn't be notified of them. And that is another example as to how Shohei didn't know, because he just wasn't notified about it. And again, it shows the lengths that Ippei went to hide this and know that it wasn't legal and it wasn't the right thing to do. In the documents, I'm going to read this one out because it's wild. Bookmaker 1 messaged Mizuhara stating, "Hey Ippei, it's 2 o'clock on Friday. I don't know why you're not returning my calls. I'm here in Newport Beach and I see Victor May walking his dog. I'm just going to go up and talk to him and ask how I can get in touch with you since you're not responding. Please call me back immediately." Victim A is Shohei. Victim A in that situation is Shohei Ohtani. We were very, very close from illegal bookies going up to Shohei Ohtani in the street and asking him for money. That then becomes a whole new situation. And people out there still out there saying that Ippei is the fall guy for this, and not that many people are involved in this. It's like conspiracy that people have about it. The guy has a gambling problem and he needs help for it, and hopefully he seeks it and he gets it, and he also serves for the things he has done. But there's one account on here that has 12,000 likes on it, 2.2 million views, losing bets of nearly $183 million, winning bets of more than $142 million, and $40.7 million in losses. And then in all caps, no bookie in the world is taking those bets unless they know it's Ohtani. Ippei is the most legendary fall guy of all time. I just hope his payoff is substantial. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Any bookie would take money. Any bookie would take any money. The fact that they were in contact with Ippei and the fact that they were addressing the situation as mentioned in that previous statement in the court document, saying that they're going to go up to him and talk to him about it because Ippei isn't returning his calls, leads me to believe that they knew Shohei wasn't really involved in it. There are some people that still think the FBI are trying to cover this up because it's Major League Baseball's biggest star. It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. Because at the end of the day, think about it this way. Maybe Major League Baseball would like their biggest star playing. Just maybe. But the FBI doesn't care. The prosecutors don't care. The LA District Attorney doesn't care. So they're not all colluding together with this. They're doing their thorough investigation, which is exactly what should have happened in the first place. And then for some reason, there are some people out there that are saying, "Oh, well, they're covering it up because they don't want their star to be damaged by this." Shut up! Shut up! The FBI doesn't care. The FBI is doing its job. The FBI is seeing criminal activity and going after it. It just happens to be his name mentioned in it. It has nothing to do with Major League Baseball and they need a star in the league. The FBI doesn't care. The feds do not care. And the more people get out of that, the quicker this thing becomes more tolerable to discuss. Because there are some idiots out there that are convinced that Ohtani's guilty. And this leads me on to another thing that I've been noticing with around this situation is there's been a lot of people out there that actually want Ohtani to be involved in this and want Ohtani to be guilty. I don't understand why. There are some people that, despite actual documents saying he hasn't done anything, a federal investigation saying he hasn't done anything, a confession from Ippei Mizuhara saying Ohtani was unaware of this, actual evidence suggesting he wasn't aware of this, they still think he's involved in it. They still think he's involved in the gambling side of it. I find that stupid. I find that bizarre. And the fact that people want that to happen, who claim to be fans of the sport, I find strange. I find it strange that you would go down that path. Of a rival team, I'd kind of understand it. Or at the very least, I'd understand if you were like, suspend him whilst they play us. Because I'd be the same. I'd hold my hands up and be like, you know what? He can miss 3 games in June. Actually, no, he won't, because I'm going to that and I want to see him. So don't suspend him for those games. Don't suspend him at all, actually. But you kind of get what I mean. The tongue-in-cheek kind of don't suspend him just yet. Wait until he plays my team. I can get that banter about it. But there are people out there that actually want him to be suspended, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. Would they act the same if it was Mike Trout? I don't know. Would they have acted the same if it was their own team? I don't know. Yes, there have been Dodgers fans that have been aggressively defending him, And you do that for your own player. But there is an element at one point in time where no one accused him of anything. No one has said he's done this, he's done that. You just take a step back and go, thorough investigation is needed. Thorough investigation is needed to get to the bottom of this before anybody rushes to any judgments. And that is what is happening. People rush to a judgment about him and went, Ippei's the fall guy. Ippei's the fall guy. He's not. Ohtani's definitely involved in this. Clearly not. And if he is, somehow, hypothetically, everybody's been duped. The FBI will have been duped by this guy that requires an interpreter. Leave it out, mate. Leave it out. It's not happening. He's been established. This is the official words of the District Attorney of Los Angeles. He has been established as a victim in this case. There are people that referring to Michael Kay saying, when Michael Kay said, "Why is Ohtani still playing?" as the ongoing investigation was going on, and people mistook that as a sign that Michael Kay said he was guilty and he shouldn't be playing. No, I understand what he means. If there's an investigation going on into gambling and your name is involved in it, then I can understand why some people would be like, take him out the firing line just until the thorough investigation is completed. But they haven't, and it's up to them what they do. And as we see now, I will refer back to the court document for another bit. On or about March 20th, 2024, Mizuhara messaged Bookmaker 1 stating, "Have you seen the reports?" Bookmaker 1 responded, "Yes, but that's all bull. Yeah. Obviously you didn't steal from him. I understand it's a cover job, I totally get it." Mizuhara then responded to Bookmaker 1, "Technically, I did steal from him. It's all over for me." Even the bookie was involved in it, in thinking it was a cover. And Mizuhara himself said, I'm in some trouble here, lad. I'm in some trouble. He knew he was in trouble, and the bookmaker was like, the book. I read that as a bookmaker kind of going, no. Shohei's involved in this, isn't he? Like, come on, he's involved. And Ippei was like, no, he's not. He's not. It's me. And then you get some Dodgers fans that are now attacking various talking heads, saying, "Are you going to apologise for what you said about Ohtani?" Misunderstanding pretty much everything that people have said about him, in the sense that I don't think anybody really accused him of being a gambler. Nobody really accused him of betting on games. There was people that were like, seems a bit fishy, but without a thorough investigation, you can't really say anything. So I feel for Ohtani in this situation because he's clearly been duped. He's clearly had things stolen from him. And it's like, hopefully the situation's put behind him and he can just focus on being a Dodger. Just reading on the court documents that are on ESPN.com. Mizuhara admitted that he stole from Ohtani. Ohtani has admitted that he wasn't aware and he didn't authorize any of these things. But it's fine because people on Twitter don't agree. They don't agree with any of this. That the federal government have found out. I find that mad. It's all just very strange. All just very strange, I think. And I hope for his own well-being, Ohtani is away from all of this and it can be dealt with quickly. like Ippei has pretended to be Ohtani many times, according to the document, and has transferred many funds to to Bookmaker One, the guy that was going to approach Ohtani. And it is literally just a case of he stole money from his account. He acted as if he was Ohtani with the name and everything, and the bookie thought it was him until Ippei admitted he's stolen from him. The whole situation is wild. The whole situation is insane. But I'm glad that Shohei Ohtani is, not as involved as some people weirdly would like him to be. A scandal in this sport is forever linked. It has been forever. It will always be linked. But the legalization of gambling in America is something that I'm quite concerned about. You see a lot of adverts and commercials saying bet for this and bet for that. DraftKings and BetMGM and Bet365, and I remember when the Yankees played the Astros, they put odds up on a tweet of a strikeout. I find that wild. I find that insane. Betting is not something... we've spoken about this the last time we spoke about the Ohtani situation. Betting is not something I'm fond of, and I think there is a way of doing it healthily, but I think the introduction into America has been a dangerous one, with so many people being involved in this. Incidents like this will not help the perception of gambling in America, that it is dodgy, that it is suspect, and that, when people kick a field goal, it's for a line in Vegas, or when someone does this and that, it's for gambling, and I'm mad at this player for the Portland Trail Blazers because he didn't hit the assists that I needed him to. It's a dangerous slope. It's a slippery slope that American sports are down. And I hope there are some regulations towards gambling. There won't be, actually. As I'm talking about this, I know deep down there won't be, because it makes far too much money for them. It makes far too much money. But there needs to be some regulations on how it is promoted. It can't be presented as some fun thing that you can get the over-under on strikeouts. No. Because if you open that door to millions of people, there are going to be millions of people out there that won't know how to react to it. Again, as I said previously, putting a $10 bet on once a week is it's up to you. But if you put a $10, $20, $30, so on and on and on and on every other night, because there are sports on every night and there are so many markets to bet on, then it becomes an issue. Because if you win, you want to keep going. A lot of people will want to keep going. But if you lose, a lot of people will want to chase their loss. And they'll end up throwing good money after bad. And then you get into a whole load of situation. Ippei Mizuhara in this entire situation is a good example. On a grand scale, on an extortionate, not really extortionate level, pardon the pun, but on a exaggerated level of if you have a gambling problem and addiction to spending lots of money, this isn't the way to go about it. He's lost his friend. He's lost his job. He's lost his friend. He's probably going to go to prison because he has a gambling addiction. And anytime you watch a sportscast in America now, you are faced with gambling, odds. It must be very difficult to deal with if you are a gambling addict or someone that is prone to addiction. Because, yes, you might only put on small bets at the beginning, but if you win and you get the knack of it and you get the love for it, I suppose, it leads to harmful situations like we've seen here. America needs more regulators when it comes to gambling, and they need to curtail how it's promoted, certainly within games. Because if the Premier League and Sky Sports started doing that here, all hell would break loose, and it would be a very dangerous situation. We've already got a very dangerous situation here, America already has a very dangerous situation over there, and quite frankly, it's only going to get worse as time goes on. This has been Let's Talk Baseball. This has been a very serious episode, but thank you for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment if you have any thoughts on this situation. There's videos going up on TikTok, all the good stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.